Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, we're going to react to Megyn Kelly leaking evidence that suggests that Jeffrey Epstein could allegedly still be alive. Now, personally, I suspect that he is. Honestly, I don't buy the whole, first of all, like the whole story that, so he was in prison. He was under watch by the guards, and somehow, he managed to, himself. Like, they were watching him like 24 hours a day, and the timing of it, just when he was about to reveal who he's been working for and supplying, that's when he does it. It doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense. Like, personally, if he is dead, I don't believe he did it himself. I'm almost 100% sure of that. I don't have any evidence, but that is just my intuition. And it wouldn't surprise me if, a man who has his connections, the people he's been dealing with, this guy's been dealing with like heads of state, the wealthiest people on the planet, could they really not make a man disappear, like if they wanted to, I don't see that being that difficult, if I'm honest with you. Like, he could easily be on some remote island somewhere, or maybe living in some ranch that's hundreds of miles away from the nearest, town or whatever. Just living his life, living out his days. So it's going to be interesting to see what Megyn Kelly has to say here.
I wanted to begin with the story that set the internet on fire last night, the Jeffrey Epstein document release.
And that the sky was the limit for him. I mean, just the way he spoke was so compelling, so dynamic, and so magnetizing. You couldn't take your eyes off the screen.
Did you care about any of the underage minor females at the time when you were engaging?
Could you please give us your name? Jeffrey Epstein.
Megyn Kelly, the TV personality, just spilled some hot gossip, suggesting that Jeffrey Epstein might not be as dead as we thought. Yep, you heard it right. Epstein, the infamous money guy with a lot of scandals. Megyn's got some secret evidence, and suddenly the whole Epstein's dead story is up in the air. We all thought Epstein's saga was over, but thanks to Megyn Kelly, it looks like there might be more to this story than we ever imagined. Ready for the gossip? Let's spill it. The former Fox News host on her Sirius XM podcast, The Megyn Kelly Show, dropped a mysterious bombshell suggesting we're in for a whole more Epstein drama. And get this, we might even hear directly from the man himself. It's like a real-life thriller unfolding before our eyes, and Kelly's got the inside scoop.
And the thing is, because they're releasing all of these names and stuff like that, these documents, that a lot of stuff has been redacted from those documents. Anything that makes it to the public has been looked over by a lot of people. Certain things have been taken out of there because, someone has either paid them off or it would be disruptive to their big organizations and whatever. We're not going to ever get the whole truth of it, are we?
Words she shared. I can't spill all the beans, but mark my words, we're diving deep into Jeffrey Epstein territory. And in the coming year, and guess what? You might just be hearing from him directly. Stay tuned for more details as I get the green light to share.
I can tell you that for a fact. Can't tell you how I know, but I can tell you for a fact we're going to hear a lot more about Jeffrey Epstein in the coming year. And you may be even hearing from him directly. More on that as I'm allowed to tell.
It's got to be like some kind of tape recording. I think that's what it is. There's no way, if he's alive and he turns up, it completely discredits the prison system.
This bombshell revelation unfolds the unsealing of court records exposing over 100 of Epstein's connections, from Wall Street bigwigs to royalty and celebrities. Remember Epstein, the financier with a dark history, mixing with the elite before his 2019 death by suicide while facing federal trafficking charges? The plot thickens, and it seems like we're in for quite a ride with this unexpected twist in the Epstein saga. With a staggering 1.3 million views on TikTok, social media is buzzing with curiosity. The online community couldn't handle the suspense. Comments flooded in, with one user exclaiming, "I just yelled, 'Wait, what?' out loud." Another pleaded, "Ma'am, don't leave us hanging like this." And a third speculated, "I'm betting on a video deposition where he spills the beans on everyone involved." This follows the release of the third batch of Epstein documents, featuring intriguing phone messages from Victoria's Secret mogul Les Wexner's wife and details of what lawyers were looking for in Ghislaine Maxwell's computers. The documents, previously sealed in a lawsuit from 2015, finally shed light on Epstein's inner circle, exposing connections with high-profile figures like Bill Clinton. Although the much-anticipated list didn't unveil the expected bombshells, it did reveal more about Prince Andrew's alleged...
Like, this guy, he's just a disgrace. I mean, like, the interview he did with the BBC, like, where he was basically saying there's no way he was there, he never met the girl in question, blah, blah, blah. Even though there was a photograph of him there with her. It's like, do you think people are idiots? And then, you know, his mum had to pay his legal bill with our taxes, you know, because they're funded with, like, our taxes contribute a lot to their budget annually. I think his legal bills were like £13 million, which is like $15 million, you know, courtesy of yours truly. Like, honestly, it's just mad.
In an orgy. The latest files provide closer details on how Virginia's legal team aimed to take down Maxwell and Epstein. It seems the Epstein drama is far from its final act. Attorneys digging into Ghislaine Maxwell's computers and iCloud were on a mission to validate Virginia's claims of a sophisticated trafficking ring involving some of the world's most powerful individuals. The search terms they employed included Andrew, Prince, Royal, Clinton, underage, pedophile, mass, and the names of numerous victims. It remains unclear whether Ghislaine herself used these terms in her searches. The documents also reveal calls to Epstein, likely to his Palm Beach home, in June 2005, coinciding with the message from Abigail Wexner. The message left in 2006 conveyed, "Abigail Wexner wants to talk to you at something private." Abigail, married to Victoria's Secret mogul Les Wexner, played a role in Epstein's final financial dealings. Les Wexner, a close friend of Epstein since the early 80s, gave Epstein access to his Upper East Side mansion, where many of the crimes occurred. Abigail has yet to comment on her...
Why is it that so many of these, like, wealthy types are, you know, PEDOs? Like, what is it? Like, I just don't understand it. It's disgusting, honestly. Like, ugh.
Association with Epstein. After Epstein's 2009 conviction, the Wexners distanced themselves, and Les spoke of feeling victimized by Epstein, accusing him of misappropriating significant sums. The document dump also brought forth legal exchanges between Ghislaine and Virginia's attorneys. Virginia expressed discontent about expanding on the list of high-profile people involving in her trafficking, mentioning politicians and an unnamed well-known prime minister. The only match to the description is former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, who denies the allegations. Of
course he's going to deny the allegations. No one's going to say, "Oh, yeah, you got me." That's me.
Releases provide more insights into Epstein's connections with Prince Andrew and Bill Clinton, making this ongoing saga a continuous unraveling of shocking details. The newly unsealed documents have also exposed Jeffrey Epstein's defense strategy, aiming to question the credibility of a witness, Sarah Ransom. She'd previously claimed that Epstein possessed tapes involving high-profile figures like Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, and Sir Richard Branson.
I mean, that would be the ultimate sort of blackmail material. If you've got video of all these people, like, doing, you know, that kind of stuff, you could get them to do whatever you want, couldn't you?
However, no evidence of these tapes was presented, and Ransom later retracted her allegations. These revelations surfaced in documents linked to Epstein's lawyers, Dan Dershowitz, who sought to depict Ransom as lacking credibility. Ransom had made these assertions in emails submitted to the court during Ghislaine Maxwell's trafficking trial. Prince Andrew, who has denied any recollection of meeting Ms. Guthrie, settled a sex assault lawsuit with her in 2022 without admitting any wrongdoing or liability.
I mean, if you settle out of court, you did it. I mean, come on. You either did it or you know that they have something good, like in terms of evidence, that will just drag your name more into the mud.
In Ms. Guthrie's 2016 deposition, released on Tuesday, she received payment ranging from $10,000 to $15,000 for one sexual encounter with the Duke of York. Additionally, she stated she was paid $160,000 by a media organization for 2 articles and a photo featuring her with Prince Andrew. Notably, Prince Andrew faced public backlash and distanced himself from public duties due to his association with Epstein, settling a civil sexual assault case with Virginia Guthrie. The unsealed documents, part of Guthrie's 2015 civil claim against Maxwell, also included images. Among them, a resurfaced photo showed former Labor Minister Peter Mandelson with Epstein on his private island, Little St. James. Additional pictures from 2006 depicted Maxwell with the disgraced French model scout Jean-Luc Brunel and various girls posing for photos on the island. This latest batch of revelations adds another layer to the intricate web of connections surrounding Epstein, shedding light on legal strategies and potentially damaging accusations made during the high-profile trials. The recent release of documents has brought to light claims by Sarah Ransom, who asserted that Jeffrey Epstein filmed sex tapes involving prominent figures such as Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, Richard Branson, and even accused Donald Trump of...
Man, if he has those, I mean, if someone out there has those tapes, you could cause a big, huge mess. Imagine that. You know, you've got sex tapes of like Clinton, Trump, you know, you could ruin them essentially, really, or at least like severely damage them, like especially if the people that they're, you know, engaging with in those tapes are underage. Oh,
regular sexual relations with her friend at Epstein's New York mansion. Ransom's emails, however, were flagged by a legal firm representing Epstein's lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, as lacking credibility. Ransom initially alleged that her friend obtained footage of these encounters, clearly showing the faces of Clinton, Prince Andrew, and Branson. She further claimed that when her friend reported the incidents to the police in 2008, no action was taken, leading to humiliation. Yet Ransom eventually withdrew her claims, acknowledging that she had invented the tapes. In the email extracts, Ransom also targeted Hillary Clinton, expressing a desire to prevent her and Trump from getting elected. She suggested releasing the footage to WikiLeaks and indicated reaching out to the Russians to help after claiming her emails had been hacked. A spokesperson for the Virgin Group dismissed Ransom's claims, stating they are baseless and unfounded. Meanwhile, Epstein's death in 2019, ruled as suicide while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges, continues to reverberate. Ghislaine Maxwell, despite her defense's attempts for bail, has been in prison since July 2020.
but she's just the scapegoat, isn't she? She's just the fall guy or fall girl in this situation. You know, there's so many people that definitely, well, not definitely, I don't know for sure, but you know, on that island of Epstein's, a lot of crazy shit went down. Probably some of it illegal, and, you know, they're going to get away with it unless the evidence, you know, is presented to the courts. She's going to take the fall for that.
She was sentenced to 20 years in prison in June 2022, with an appeal scheduled for November next year. The late financier, Jeffrey Epstein, reportedly shared a mysterious statement with his brother, Mark Epstein, back in 2016. Mark revealed that Jeffrey claimed, "If I said what I know about both candidates, they'd have to cancel the election." However, Mark declined to provide further details, emphasizing that Jeffrey never discloses the specifics about then presidential candidates Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. While Trump's name appeared in recently released court documents, he wasn't implicated in any wrongdoing related to Epstein's trafficking activities. Flight logs from Epstein's private jet, known as the Lolita Express, reveal that Trump had taken several trips on the plane between 1993 and 1997. However, these records don't indicate any visits to Epstein's Caribbean island. a focal point of his illicit operations. Alan Dershowitz, Epstein's former attorney and friend, defended associates of the late financier, asserting that nobody was aware of Epstein's secretive private life. Dershowitz urged caution in passing judgment on Epstein's associates, acknowledging potential lapses in judgment, but emphasizing the need to consider evidence before accepting any accusations as true. A final release of court documents comprising 1,400 pages has unveiled depositions from Epstein and Maxwell. The newly released documents include a transcript of Epstein's 2016 sworn deposition, where he consistently invoked his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Lawyers inquiring about the alleged blackmail of prominent men asked Epstein whether Guthrie was instructed to provide detailed reports of her sexual encounters, potentially for use as blackmail material. Epstein, however, refused to respond to these questions, repeatedly citing the word fifth over 500 times during the deposition.
Wow.
This marks the conclusion of a series of document releases shedding light on the controversial and illicit activities surrounding Epstein and his...
What do you guys think? Do you think he's A, do you think he's alive? And B, do you think, if you don't think he's alive, do you think he did it himself? Like, as in, because I don't want to say himself, because that can flag up the video. Like, do you think he himself? I don't know. There's way more. What I do know, there's just so much more to this story than the public know and will probably ever know.
Associates. In the latest revelation from the recently released court documents, it's been disclosed that Epstein repeatedly refused to acknowledge any knowledge of his former associate, Ghislaine Maxwell. Ms. Guthrie admitted using substances like Xanax, ecstasy, cannabis, and alcohol, which affected her ability to recall specific details of alleged encounters. Other men she accused of sexual misconduct, including Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz, Victoria's Secret boss Les Wexner, billionaire hedge fund investor Glenn Dubin, and former U.S. peace envoy George Mitchell, have previously denied her claims. Notably, Ms. Guthrie dropped a lawsuit against Mr. Dershowitz in 2022, acknowledging a potential mistake in identifying him. Denials of the allegations came from the spokespersons for Mr. Wexner and Mr. Dubin, while Mr. Mitchell reiterated his previous denial. Ms. Guthrie also mentioned being trafficked to American computer scientist Marvin Minsky and French modeling agent Jean-Luc Brunel. Minsky passed away in 2016, while Brunel died.
I really looked up to that guy. I mean, all this is alleged because, Marvin Minsky is one of the godfathers of artificial intelligence. This is yeah. I mean, I don't know. Innocent until proven guilty.
Paris jail in 2022 while awaiting trafficking charges. Jeffrey Epstein's death by suicide has become a breeding ground for conspiracy theories, fueling unfounded claims from both the right and left. On the right, the conspiracy narrative suggests Epstein's demise supports baseless allegations of the Clintons orchestrating the deaths of their political adversaries. The far right has exploited Epstein's connections to Democrats to propagate the discredited QAnon conspiracy theory, insinuating a pedophilia ring within the party and using it to garner support for Trump. Conversely, those on the left have linked Epstein's death to unproven claims of Trump being involved in the deaths of his political rivals. Attempts have been made to implicate Trump directly in Epstein's crimes by drawing attention to his history of sexual assault and rape allegations. What's your theory on the Epstein saga and Megyn Kelly's mysterious comments? Are we witnessing the unraveling of hidden truths or just fueling more wild conspiracies? Let us know in the comments.
If there's anybody out there with the connections to pull something like this off, it's Epstein. The guy is not only really, really, really wealthy, but he is connected to, heads of state, presidents, royal families. He has the connections to pull something like this off quite easily, honestly. And it wouldn't surprise me. It's quite a simple theory. If he does indeed have these videotapes, right, and he's placed them in enough locations that even if you were to seize the physical tapes, if you were to somehow get those physical tapes from him, he's got fail-safes everywhere. He's got many copies uploaded. You say to these people, if anything happens to me, these tapes are going to get released. Unless you can find a way to make me disappear, make it look like I'm gone. But obviously I'm not really gone. It's a simple case of blackmail there. So yeah, because the thing is, like, a man like Epstein, he's clearly, like an intelligent guy. You have to think that he would assume that one day, with all of the incriminating evidence he has, someone would want to get rid of him to silence him permanently, so that none of their secrets could ever make it to the public domain. He must know that. So I don't know. I believe it, honestly. I do think that the guy could still be out there. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.